These are the first ever 3D printed irons that you can actually buy. However, there's only 500 sets made so far. I can't wait to test these. There's actually a lot of evidence to why these actually might be better than traditional iron making. 3D print today, who'd have thought it? Let's start this video off with a hit into this green. It's not the worst start. Welcome back to the H.I.T Golf channel. Go on. Wow, these could be really good. Okay, 3D printed irons. I mean, first off, how good do these irons look? I've got a bag here from Forte pitching wedge, and they look absolutely incredible. You know, fair play to Cobra. For a couple of things actually, for pushing the boundaries. Like Cobra are the real innovators, sneaky innovators, certainly when it comes to 3D printing. A couple of years ago, they brought out 3D printed putters. They've kind of tested it a little bit so far, but this head and this set of clubs, all the body of the head is fully 3D printed. There's two tungsten weights, one that sits in the heel, one that sits in the toe, that's there to help with support. Obviously, they're not 3D printed, but everything else is. I mean, unbelievable. And the detail across the back there, and that lattice, that kind of little slither, that window there, does serve a really important purpose. They are the limited edition. It says actually here on the neck, 1 of 500 sets. There's only 500 sets. And do you want to know the price? You ready for this? $3,000 for a set. Woo! $3,000 for a set of 3D printed irons. But I'll be honest, I think they will be collector's items. I think they're very, very luxury. It'll be interesting to see where this maybe goes in the future. Let's test them first and see if they're actually any good. As I mentioned, there is science behind this kind of lattice in the 3D printing. I just can't believe they look this good. I'm gonna start off with the 7-iron and then we'll move up through the set. Now, truth be told, I don't fully know how 3D printing works. It's a bit of a crazy mystery, but the idea with these clubs is that it's supposed to still have the same shape, feel and accuracy of a blade. And to be honest, they look so bloody good. But with the same MOI and forgiveness level of a game improvement iron. And the way they've done this very complex, detailed 3D printed lattice here, as I mentioned, that's helping to distribute weight around the perimeter weighting of the golf club while still continuing with the strength that you need in the body of the club. At the moment, that's pretty much the main story of these irons. What I'm interested about though, if this genuinely works and these irons are good and they feel good and they fly good and they genuinely look this good, what's the possibilities moving forward? Like, how is golf club design going to look in the next 2, 3 to 5 years if 3D printing really takes off? One definitely really cool feature where it's here on the toe, it says limited. They've actually turned the E around, so it's a number 3. So it's limit 3D, but it still looks like limited. Very clever, very clever. Right, I've got the 7-iron in hand, 31 degrees of loss, so strong-ish. Everything else is pretty standard. This is a KBS Tour shaft, a normal golf cross line grip, which is actually a really nice grip. And just, honestly, I can't get over, I'll keep mentioning it, but hopefully it comes across in video how gorgeous this set of clubs are. Now, when you do buy them for $3,000, they come in a fancy presentation box. I didn't get the fancy presentation box, but apparently it looks really good. But I obviously just got them to test and review. Right, let's go, 7-iron. That first one was pretty good. Let's see how these other ones fly. That's really nice. Gorgeous feel. And I suppose they're not forged, because a forging club is where obviously the metal kind of gets smashed up. This isn't that, but it feels soft. If someone had said to me this is a forged set of irons, I'd go, yeah, okay, I kind of believe you. The fact it's 3D printed is absolutely wild. Right, so a few more. That was a nice shot as well. Good heart of the green. Another thing I think sometimes when you think, certainly I do anyway, when you think 3D printing, you kind of feel very almost homemade, almost plastic. is where my head kind of takes me. Almost 3D printing is almost like if you've got a prototype of a toothbrush you want to try and invent, and you kind of 3D print it with this idea that it's going to be the next big thing. Feels very homemade, where this definitely does not seem homemade. This seems like it's been refined and perfected to the closest degree. And I suppose you'd have to imagine the tolerance is going to be better. Your 3D printing product, the tolerance has to be more accurate. Good results so far. Let's hit a few more with the 7, then we'll move up clubs. It's a little bit heavy, that one. That'll be an interesting one. Wow, it's a really interesting one. Go on. I didn't hit that well. I slightly fatted that. Obviously you get a bit of forgiveness with the mat, but that result was still very, very good. It does look fantastic behind the golf ball. And so far, those results, to me, I wouldn't describe it as obviously the shape, feel and accuracy of a blade. Feel, yes. I feel it does feel like a blade. Accuracy, I think it's better. I think so far at the moment, I'm finding that certainly the off-centered hits are working better for me. I wouldn't define it as a blade shape. It does look more like a P770, almost like a tailor-made P770. That's the kind of head shape it's got on it. I'm gonna go one more with the 7. Oh, no, I should have finished on the last one. That'll be an interesting one though. I nearly shanked that, just to give you a heads up. I might be one of the first people in the world to nearly shank a 3D printed iron. That's embarrassing. Let's go one more. We'll take that one out of the numbers when we come to the end, because that's not a true reflection of the distance this club is carrying. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's redeemed itself. That's going to go in the hole. First ever hole in one. Oh, it's had a little bit too much grab. Really, really, really nice and very impressed. Right, I'm going to hit the pitching wedge next actually, and then we'll go into the longer irons. Okay, pitching wedge next. Quite a nice head shape. In fact, look at it from this angle, from the back of the club, it kind of looks quite enlarged. Like the sole of the golf club looks kind of quite bubbly. But actually when you set it behind the golf ball, it does look very traditional. Full credit to Cobra. This, arguably, I don't think I've seen Cobra make a better looking set of irons. The fact it's needed them to take 3D printing to get this stage is interesting, but I mean, they're absolutely fantastic. I think they look gorgeous. Right, pitching wedge, 140 yards. Such a nice feel. I'm very, very, very impressed. The one thing I'm obviously not impressed with at the moment is the price. Limited edition, however, I suppose that's where you can drive up the price. This might be the first kind of, dipping the toe in the water, see what the interest has been like. And if they become popular, that's going to then show in the price reflection, you'd imagine. Like the next set of 3D printed irons, I can't imagine they're going to go up in price, they're only going to start to go down in price. A little bit of a left pull, but should still find the green. Yeah, even that wasn't a centered hit, and it's done really well on performance there. Go one more with the wedge. Oh, pulled it. I'll go one more. I mean, that was a bad strike. Yeah, really nice. Very impressed, I really am. Let's move on to 4-iron next. Okay, last club I'm going to hit is the 4-iron. As you can tell from this review, I'm really enjoying these irons, like really enjoying them. I do think they're some of the best looking irons that Cobra have ever made. I mean, they're challenger for a lot of brands. I think it's just the detailing of that lattice effect there through that window. Kind of you almost have the traditional element of the club head and the clean lines and the shiny steel. And then you have that real complicated structure behind, which just looks so good. And to be honest, I would say it works. Like that stripping of the weight from the center there and moving it around different parts of the head. I feel like these irons have been pretty consistent so far. The 4-iron will be the real test. Good looking behind the ball again. I would definitely, if you've ever picked up a tailor-made P770, they very much look like those. Oh, yes. Gee, that was really nice. I mean, that green's 200 that pin's 215 yards away. And that came out absolutely perfect. Love that flight. Really nice feel. That's the thing that surprised me most. I think because my preconception was going to be that we've got to feel different. I knew as soon as I opened the box, I liked the looks. Obviously, that's easy to determine. But I really felt like they were going to feel different to traditional irons. But they feel soft. Not what I expected at all. Oh, a little bit of a pull, but it's not a bad flight again. And we are hitting to a green, it's 215 yards away, so not going to be too critical over that. Let's go one more. Oh, a bit too much, but that wasn't far off. You can work the ball as well. I feel confident I could hit this high, low, right to left, left to right. I'm going to go one more, little soft fade this time. That was a bit too much. Oh, it's absolutely money. Very good. Very, 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 very impressed. Let's have a look at some numbers. I think it's only really going to match up to what I'm going to expect already anyway. I think I might be in love a little bit. Really, really enjoyed hitting those irons a lot. I've just put new irons in the bag as well. Oh, might have a tricky decision coming up soon. Anyway, looking at some numbers, they pretty much did what I expected them to do. I took that Rogue 7-iron out, that one that I kind of semi-shanked. But 7-iron there was carrying 171 yards. Spin rate 6,000 again. I've seen higher with other brands, but I suppose it is a stronger lofted iron. I like the flight of that. Pitching wedge, for me, 136 yards. These are going about 3 to 5 yards longer than the Wilsons I've currently got in the bag, but again, the stronger lofted. And then the 4-iron carrying 204. Really good numbers. Really impressed. Well done, Cobra. Yeah, well done.